Can I just say how much I love this new banner so much? And this new statue. Like, man, this is so cool. I love it so much. Hello, what's up, guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is my Crash Bandicoot game collection. Now, every copy that I've shown you, every disc and cartridge in them are my childhood copies. I never traded them in, and it's every game in the franchise as well. I don't have every port or every variant, which we'll get into that more like towards the end of the video. But as long as a Crash game exists, I have it on one platform or another. Primarily PlayStation, but then I have the exclusives on Game Boy and DS. And I went over them briefly in my giant Crash Bandicoot collection video, so if you haven't seen that, you can either click right here or wait till the end card. That works too. But we're gonna go over every game and what they mean to me because, you know, why not have a little bit of a story time? Because showing off games is just boring. And I'm gonna do it like console by console, like, or platform by platform, whatever you want to call it, because I find it easier that way. Just trying to figure out the release dates for all the games. No, I ain't got time for that. No, I'm good. And let's start off from where it first started, Crash 1. Now, I remember this game being ball-busting hard. I never beat it as a child, at least not by myself. My mom helped me get pretty far in it as well. Can't remember if she helped me beat it, but I do remember her playing it with me and her actually being pretty good at it. And as the years went on, I didn't even beat this game until I was an adult. It took me many years to get good. But now I'm good, but I don't like going back to this version in particular. Like, I mean, nostalgic-wise, it's nice to look at again, but the save system in this game freaking sucks. I mean, if you play it all in one go, which takes about like 3 to 4 hours, maybe, as long as you're not going for 100%, it's still a good time. But man, this game got me into a rabbit hole, let me tell you. Moving on, we're gonna go on to Crash 2. Now, Crash 2, this is the greatest hits version, but my friend from middle school and elementary school gave me the holographic like sleeve for like the black cover variant, so sweet. I have analog stick controls and a holographic label. Hell yeah, let's go. This game is actually my favorite in the franchise because I love how the whole moveset, it's already there for you. And there's not too many gimmicks. Plus, it's just a lot of fun. I love the levels. I love so much about this game. And honestly, I prefer this one compared to the Insane Trilogy because, I don't know. It's the music is better in the original. Like I think it's just nostalgic stuff. Nostalgia's hitting me too hard. I just love this game so much. Next up, we got Crash Warped. Now I remember when I was playing this, I booted up the first level, and you're in like the Renaissance era, and the music was roaring with like a full orchestra from what it felt like, and like the colors are so vibrant. I'm like, oh my god, it's a revolutionary new Crash game! And I also remember my brother actually drew me a poster of Crash on his bike, and I think the logo. It wasn't colored in or anything, it was just a sketch. It was on a giant poster board, and it was really awesome. And then I ruined it because I wanted more characters on it, so I tried drawing it myself, and I couldn't draw worth shit. As a kid, I loved this one a lot, but as an adult, there's a lot of gimmicks that I don't like about it anymore. So I go back to Crash 2 instead. Oh yeah, I wanted to give a quick disclaimer. When it comes to the PS1 cases, I had to replace all those. The discs are fine, except for CTR. CTR doesn't work anymore. But I had to replace all the jewel cases. But all the copies, the discs and stuff, they're all still mine now. Ever since I was a kid. No trading in, no nothing. I would hold on to those games for my dear life. Alright, moving on from Crash Warped, we're gonna go to CTR. Now, Crash Team Racing, CTR, such a classic. It's still good to this day. The only thing that doesn't hold up are the polygon models, like when you're actually racing. They look really bad, but we have Nitro Field now, so that's nice. But my favorite thing about this was here, my dad will also play this game with me too. It was this and Grand Theft Auto were like his favorite games on the PlayStation. And also I had a pinball set as a child, and I bought it again as an adult, complete in box for like 40 bucks on eBay. I'm like, that's absolutely a deal. I would be stupid not to get that. But as a child, I was never good at like the drifting mechanics and the boosting mechanics all too much. I only knew, oh, if you jump off a ramp and you press the jump button, you get a little bit of a speed boost. And I was never good at drifting at all, so As an adult, I learned how to get good, but I am nowhere on a competitive level. Next up, we got Crash Bash. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of this game. As a kid, I never beat it because I got very sick of playing games repeatedly, and some games I didn't understand as a child, like the pogo stick one. I don't know, I had a hard time, like, creating as many, like, squares and whatever as I could. My brother tried to help me do that. He didn't help me beat it all too much, though. Oh yeah, he also helped me with Crash Warped, by the way. I have two brothers. One drew me the poster. My other brother helped me with the games as well. He did the motorcycle levels as well for me because he loved them. But this one, I mean, the multiplayer was fun. I wish there was a cheat code that had all of them, like everything unlocked from the get-go, so I didn't have to do it all. But I had fun with multiplayer, but single player sucked. And I also noticed, as a child, Crash looked really weird. I'm like, he doesn't look like the normal Crash, because I paid attention to detail when it came to the polygon models. But then I realized, oh, it's not made by Naughty Dog. That makes sense. Also, the only way I found out about this game, I don't remember how I found out about the other ones. I guess I just had them. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I kind of remember how I got some of them. But the way I found out about this game was, I think I rented or bought Spyro Year of the Dragon. And of course, you look through the manual because as a kid, you did that. And then I see a cheat code to play a demo for Crash Bash, and I see a tiny little render of him holding Wampa Fruit. I'm like, wait a minute! There's a new Crash game? So then we got it very shortly after, and I mean, I played it. I got my money's worth. I didn't enjoy it all too much, but I played it. Now the PS1 era's done, let's move on to PS2. And we're gonna start off with Crash, the Wrath of Cortex. First up, I love the cover so much. Like, even though Crash has very tiny legs and feet, and his upper torso is really freaking huge, it makes no sense. But hey! There he is, still looking like the same Bandicoot we all know and love. This game was the reason why I bought a PS2. I mean, I wanted a PS2 anyway, but this Crash game wasn't on PS1, so I'm like, nope, we can't wait. We gotta get one. So my brother and I, like, our birthdays were like a couple of weeks away from each other. So we got it as a combined gift, I believe. And I got Crash, he got a couple of games as well, I think. And the PS2 died very shortly after, probably like a couple of days after it stopped reading discs. So we got another one. Actually, no, I think we sent it out. And it came back, and it had my name labeled on it, and I wanted to hold on to it forever because that PS2 had my name on it, but sadly we got rid of it, and I'm very upset by it because I want my PS2 that has my name on it, damn it. Anyway, as a kid, I had a good time with this. As an adult, it's okay. I'd give it, you know, a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5. I mean, it still functions like a Crash game. For the most part, I can go back to it every once in a while. It's not awful. And there were a lot of gimmicks in this game, but there were actually a few that were pretty decent. Also, if you got this game with the console, you also got a bobblehead, I think from Media Play or Circuit City, I can't remember. But I got the bobblehead still from childhood. I mean, it's a little beaten up, but I got it. Put it up on a shelf behind some statues, and I don't feel like getting it. Next up, we got Crash Nitro Kart. Now, I love Crash Nitro Kart as a child because here my uncle got this game and brought it over for me to play it. Now, here's the thing. My uncle loved Crash as much as I did. He would get the games before I did because I had to wait till like Christmas or birthday because I was not an entitled child that got everything I wanted right at the spot when it came to video games. But I was patient, except for action figures for Crash. I had to get that shit immediately. But luckily they were cheap enough at the time, so they weren't a problem getting it like once or twice a week. But my uncle loved Crash as much as I did. So he brought it over, and I'm watching the cutscenes, and I'm like, wow, this is what a next-gen Crash Bandicoot looks like. Let's go! Man, he looks so good. And I'm playing it, having a good time. I didn't mind that I didn't play exactly like Crash Team Racing. But as a child, I noticed Crash Team Racing has nothing to do with teams. Crash Nitro Kart does, but now as an adult, I now notice, just to this day, there's Nitro in it, but boosting is a good primary thing in team racing, that actually feels better in team racing than it does in this. But as a child, it always bothered me that we never had any Crash Nitro Kart or Crash Team Racing toys. No Hot Wheels, no nothing. Now we got little Funko figures. The wheels don't move and they don't work on a Hot Wheels track, but it's good enough, I guess. Alright, moving on. Crash Twinsanity. Now, honestly, if this game wasn't an unfinished game, this would probably be like my favorite Crash game of all time. This game in particular, I don't know what it's so self-aware. It's so goofy. I was hoping Crash 4 would be as self-aware as this, but it's not. And sadly, this game does not work on my backwards compatible PS3. It just freezes. And it makes me very sad. I even bought another disc, hoping that mine was just defective, because it had a little scratch on the label. No, the other one doesn't work either. So now I have 2 copies of this game. One I don't need. One's just a disc. But this game is still fantastic. But if I want to play it now, I gotta boot up a PS2. And I pray that this game gets a remake. Because man, does it need it. It deserves it. It's a fun time. Please. If you haven't played this game already, please play it. Next up, we got Crash Tag Team Racing. Same story with Nitro Kart. My uncle had it. He brought it over. I got to play it for a good bit. Man, this game, I hear it doesn't age very well at all. I enjoyed it a lot as a kid, actually. But I haven't played it since I was a kid. And it's probably be better off that way. But I think one day I will replay this. Hopefully, I still enjoy it. We'll see what happens. I remember loving the skate park. That's what I like to call it. Because, you know, Tony Hawk was so popular. So, I guess they tried to throw in a little bit of that in there. So, you have a car, you're just going on ramps, doing flips and shit. And I loved it as a kid. And plus the platforming, the huge world and stuff, I just adored so much. And plus, this game had skins for Crash before Crash 4 did. So, take that, Crash 4. Crash 4 has a lot better ones, so. Next up, we got Crash of the Titans. Now, this one, you could call the start of the downfall for Crash. Or you can say that about Tag Team Racing too. Whatever floats your boat. Different strokes for different folks. This game, I remember I didn't want to like as a kid. Because I wanted to give it a chance. I'm like, okay, it's a new Crash game. We can all enjoy it. It's still Crash Bandicoot. Barely. But then I started playing it with my friend who gave me the little sleeve cover for Crash 2. He helped me enjoy this game a lot because this game had like local co-op. So we all got to progress the story together. And he made me enjoy it, I think. Because I got to share the experience with him and that's how I beat it. Not that I couldn't beat it by myself. I just found it more enjoyable to play it with him. And we had a fantastic time. Unfortunately, that couldn't be said about the next game in the franchise, Mind Over Mutant. I remember I saw the cover, I'm like, ooh, a realistic Crash. I don't know how to feel about it. If only he looked like that in the game. And now I'm thankful he doesn't. And I just realized now this is actually like the first Crash game with the Activision logo on it. Wow. I didn't enjoy this game at all. Looking back at it when I saw like cutscenes and stuff, I loved the self-awareness of this game. Like, it's pretty much like the same self-awareness humor from Crash Twinsanity I saw in this, and the different cutscenes had different animation styles, parroting like everything else in the world. Like, we got like Muppets, we got like Dragon Ball Z, we got a bunch of different stuff to make fun of, and I found that enjoyable. But I could not make myself finish this game. To this day, I don't think I ever will, because backtracking and overall, just not that fun of an experience personally. I just want to move on. As much as I want to like finish this game to see all the cutscenes and see more of the self-aware humor, I just don't like the gameplay all that much. I'm sorry. I think before we move on to PS4, let's go over the handheld games real quick. And the first one we're going to go over is Crash The Huge Adventure. Same disclaimer about the jewel cases for PS1 games. I had to replace the boxes. My friend Eric actually gave me this box with the manual and everything, like all the inserts, in mostly pristine condition. Like this, it's not crushed at all. It's in really good shape. But the cartridge, my childhood copy. I remember when this game came out, it was around the same time as Wrath of Cortex, and I was showing my mom. I think it was in like a Circuit City or Media Play flyer. and I told her, "Hey mom, look, a new Crash game." Which, as you can tell from this story, hopefully, my mother was very, very supportive of my Crash Bandicoot hobby and love for it. She's still supporting of it to this day. When I showed her this banner, she thought it was like one of the coolest things ever. She's like, "Oh my god, it's badass. You gotta frame that." She's not one of those pretend to care type of moms. No, she genuinely likes this shit. But anyway, Crash Huge Adventure. I remember I told mom, and at this time, like this is like the first time like Crash hopped onto any multi-platform. We're so used to Crash being always on PlayStation. So she said, and I quote, and keep in mind, how old was I? I was probably like 8 or 9 years old when this game came out. I'm trying to see like where the year is. 2001. So I would have been like either like in first grade or going to second grade. So I would have been like 7 or 8. And my mom says, "Why the fuck is Crash on a Game Boy?" Looking back at it now, it's very funny. And it's also very inappropriate to say that in front of a child. Especially at that age. But very shortly after we said that, I can't remember if it was in the same week or a week or two later, I didn't have to wait very long. Normally for the console releases, I had to wait until like birthday or Christmas, but no, I didn't wait long for this. I don't remember begging my mom for it. I just remember getting it very shortly after I said, "Hey, look at this, there's another Crash game." And this game is actually really good. I haven't played it since I was a kid, but from what I remember, the controls actually weren't too bad. It looked and felt like a Crash game. It did much better of a job than what Crash of the Titans could have done. And it definitely looked more like a Crash game than Wrath of Cortex. And it kept like the models for the most part of like the PS1 era. So if you didn't like the way Crash looked on PS2, you could still get a decent idea of what he looked like on here. And I enjoyed that a lot. Next up, we got Crash 2, Entranced. Now, this box I got on eBay. It was complete in box. I had another copy of it, so now I have another copy of this game. And I paid like 30 bucks for it. That's that sweet unemployment money. That's how I got that. And fun fact, Vicarious Visions actually made the Game Boy games. You know, the people who made the Insane Trilogy, they did a pretty decent job. So anyway, the way I discovered this game was I was looking through a gaming magazine in a grocery store because I was too poor to actually buy the magazine. So I just did a quick glance and ran off, and that's how I got my gaming news for the most part. Then I see this giant ad in the magazine, like not just a small article, like a giant like page worth of like just a flyer of Crash, and I was screaming to my mom. Now keep in mind, the reaction I had back then is still the reaction that I have now whenever there's a new Crash game. I run and scream to my mom out in the kitchen. I'm like, "Mom, there's another Crash game!" The only difference is, I have to buy the games this time. And the figures. I think it's a little unfair. But anyway, I found it in a gaming magazine. I'm like, "Oh my god, another Crash game. Let's go!" And I just remembered something. When it comes to tag team racing, I remember I found out about that game because I was on the Crash Bandicoot website when I was on my neighbor's computer. And I went to the Crash Bandicoot website and I saw it there. I'm like, "Oh, another Crash game." And then got super hyped for it. Because keep in mind, I also didn't have a computer or internet at my house. So I couldn't just go online and constantly find these things like you can today. Anyway, I played this, and this one was also very great. I loved it. But now, let's move on to one that a lot of people don't really like, and that's Crash Purple. Now this era in Crash Bandicoot was something interesting. At this time, I think Twinsanity was also like the main console game, and I remember McDonald's did a promo for this game in particular, and I almost have all those games as well, like those little handheld ones. I actually have them like in this drawer, I believe. I have the surfing, the racing, and the shooter one where it's like 2-player. I don't have the disco one. My girlfriend might get me the disco one. We'll see what happens. So, I got this game on eBay as well. I paid too much money for it, but because the box isn't in the best condition like the other two, but it's not completely crushed, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So anyway, I got both this and Spyro Orange on my birthday. I remember they were doing commercials about this giant collaboration between the two characters, and they did marketing with McDonald's. Like, this was a huge thing. But the game was hot garbage because it wasn't a platforming adventure, let alone it was also stuck on a handheld, not on a console. I also do have Spyro Orange. I don't have the box for that, and one day I might go for that too. We'll see. If I have the money for it, I'll go for it. But I tried to love this game. I'm not going back to it. In fact, there is one game that people probably hate more than that game, but surprisingly, I don't. I actually like this one more than Crash Purple. Don't hate me for this. And that is Crash Boom Bang. Now, Crash Boom Bang, if for some reason you haven't heard of this game, is kind of like the Mario Party of Crash, but not very good. But the way I discovered this, it was a Nintendo Power ad, because we were selling magazines, I believe, through our middle school, and I got a Nintendo Power subscription that way because I liked Nintendo and Mom wanted to help. And I saw it in there, and of course, you know, freaking out, yelling at Mom. At this time, I didn't have a DS yet, because I remember I used to see an ad for New Super Mario Brothers, and it was also advertising DS Lite, by the way. And I was like, it's cool. It's really cool. As much as I want that, I don't need it that bad. We can wait on it. But then this game came out. I'm like, I had to break the news to Mom. I'm like, Mom, there's a new Crash Bandicoot game exclusive to the DS. It's time. It's time for us to get a DS. So I got a white DS Lite that Christmas. I got this, Nintendo's New Super Mario Brothers, and Cars. At least there's only one crappy game in that. I mean, I 100%ed Cars. And I played this game to death because this is the main reason why I got the DS. And I enjoyed it. As an adult, I'm not sure how well it ages, but I think one day I will replay this on stream, because I have a 3DS that has a capture card in it, so I have capabilities to record the gameplay from that to my PC. Now, let's move on to PS4. And the thing that made me smile, the thing that made me wait years for, Crash Insane Trilogy. This came out, I believe, 2017, and the only Crash game that came out before that was Crash Mind of a Mutant, which was in 2008. So at that point, it would have been 9 years. 9 years to wait for this game. And it was a remake. And I remember before then, when the PS4 first launched, there was always rumors and like hints that Crash was coming back to PlayStation. And we would always be speculating, oh, they're going to reveal Crash this year at E3, and we'd be disappointed for years. And we always knew about so many canceled projects for Crash, and we were all disappointed. But then it finally happened. He walked across that stage, he talked about it, and we all flipped shit. I think I was at work. I was working at the video game stand when I was finally told this. And then I looked back when I got home and looked at the PlayStation like reveal at E3. I had to watch the whole E3 event to find that little clip of Crash being revealed. So I took that clip and uploaded it to YouTube so it'd be a lot easier for other people to see it, because it sucked trying to look for it. But man, like, every time I play this, when I look at screenshots, when I play it to this day, it still blows my mind, because like it looks like a fan-made project finally being released. Like, to me, it always sounds too good to be true whenever I play it, and it looks too good to be true. I'm like, I can't believe this is a thing. And it looks gorgeous too. In fact, I love this game so much, I bought it 3 times. I bought it on PS4, Switch, and PC. The PC one I got on sale, but the Switch version I bought full price because I was going to a beach and I wanted something to play. I think the game came out like a couple of days before I went to the beach, so I'm like, okay, I'll buy it on the Switch. Why not? If I had an Xbox One, I'd probably buy it again on Xbox One. In fact, when me and my girlfriend move in together, she has an Xbox One. I might just buy another copy just to give Crash Bandicoot my money. Vote with your wallet. Next up, we got Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Now, this game got me so excited. In fact, there's even a clip of me reacting to this, and I cringe at it every time I look at it, but I was so ecstatic when this game was announced. In fact, I even got the pin bundle as well. I'm not gonna lie, the pins are really ugly and I kind of regret picking it up. But I knew I regret not picking it up because of the Crash collectible. So I'll just live with it. But I remember leading up to this game, there were a couple of events, either at GameStop or Best Buy, where you could actually play the game. And I went to both of them. I went to GameStop, pre-ordered a game, and got an air freshener. An air freshener still hangs in my cart to this day. I remember I met the Sony representative and we were playing it, having a good time. And then there was an event, and I was working at Best Buy, and I saw her setting up, and there was a huge banner that apparently I'm supposed to get. I still have no idea what I'm getting. I haven't seen her in months, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to see her until this whole Corona thing's over. But I was playing it, and she saw how much I genuinely loved Crash. I was working and I'm like freaking out, and luckily I had a very short shift that day. So as soon as I ended my shift, I ripped off my Best Buy shirt and ran back there and started playing it. Even though it was the same exact demo that when I played at GameStop, I wanted to play more of it. And there was also stickers that we actually got during that event, which I got like probably like 4 or 5 of these, I can't remember. But I got a bunch of these. One's in my car, one's in my binder at work, and I have 2 right here. And I was telling her like what it meant to me and my dad, because I was telling her like my dad has leukemia, so like I was happy like he was able to live long enough to actually like have this game come out so we could play it together again. And then when people would ask questions about it, I think I knew more about the game than what the Sony rep did. Like keep in mind, she did know her stuff. It's just I obsessed over this game. So I'm like, whenever she's like talking, I would also be there, and I'd also be throwing in some information, trying to hype up the customer about this game. And she's like smiling, laughing. She's like, you know a lot about this game. You know what? Take this. Like she had like a tablet and stuff. Like she's like, here, you can do my job. And then like later she actually like set up some displays for Crash, like some fold out thing and a thing that hangs on like the rack. And I was telling her like, man, these things are cool. I would love to have these. And she's like, you know what? Watch this. Like, you can talk to customers, talk about this game. I'll go to my car real quick. Talking to a coworker, talking to customers, talking about this game. And then she comes back with the same displays that I still have in this room, by the way. And if you want to see those, you can see it in my full Crash collection video, which will be at the end. I nearly cried at that point because those are displays only for a store. And I didn't have to like jump through hoops to try and get it. She just gave it to me. And she saw me squeal and get all excited. Like if you saw my Crash, my merch unboxing video, the way I was reacting during that video was how I was reacting there as well. I got so ecstatic, so happy. And she saw how much I loved it and how much it meant to me. So this is a big release for me. And this is honestly like the main reason why I keep PlayStation Plus, just so I can play this game online every once in a while. When it first came out, it was a buggy mess, but now it's mostly fixed online. I think I spent too much time on Nitro Fueled because I think it's a more recent memory, and it's probably like the most hyped I was for a while. But let's move on to the newest release that you kind of see behind me. 12 years. We've waited for an all-new game, an all-new adventure. Here it is. Crash 4. It's about time. Oh my god. I remember we saw the one mask. Wait, can you see the mask? Yeah, it kind of above Crash. I think it's like, I don't know. Right there. Right there. I don't know. It's tough for me to like do the directional thing. Plus the chair's blocking me. But yeah, one of the masks, we saw that in a trailer. And we're like, oh no, all new mask. What does this mean? It turns out, yeah, it's an all new game. Can't wait. And then the reveal trailer happened and we're like, Everybody was hit and miss about the art style. I was okay with it. And the new trailer would come out and I would get even more hyped. And now I finally have it, and I gotta say, the controls took a bit to get used to. But after I got used to the controls, It feels so good to play. Oh my god. Especially like in 2D platforming. I feel like as a 2D platformer, like when it came to like the flashback stages, like the flashback tapes, it feels the best. I love it so much. Now, is this my favorite Crash game? It's gonna be really tough for it to beat Crash 2 for me, but this is a very, very good game. This is definitely what Wrath of Cortex tried to do but failed. God, I love this game so much. And if it comes to Switch, I'll buy it again. If it comes to PC, we'll see if I do that. I don't know. Like, my PC isn't too powerful to like run it at 60 frames a second consistently and play with mods and all that stuff. I want to get a new PC, but we'll see when that happens. I love this game so much, and like I'm not rushing through it. Like I am slowly taking my time with it on stream. I'm trying to savor every minute of it. The only letdown that I have for it is just that like I thought it was gonna be self-aware, kind of like the other games like Twinsanity or Mind Over Mutant, but it's still fun so far, and I can't wait to finish this game. This game is gonna be so fun, and I'm gonna keep going back trying to get all the gems and all that stuff. This game is challenging, so I'm really thankful for it being challenging, and I love it to death. It's an amazing game. Oh my god. And that is every Crash game. As of right now, the amount of room I have to collect games is very, very tiny and is dwindling more and more. So I have no idea where I'm going to put PS5 games, for example. So when I move out, I'm going to hopefully have more room to collect more games. And when that time finally comes, I think I want to try to go for like all of them on GameCube, all of them on Xbox, try and get Nitro Kart on GBA as well, and maybe the Titans games on the handhelds as well. I want to try to go for every platform first. And then eventually I want to go for the Japanese covers because they're completely different covers. And then after that, maybe go for a couple of the European ones because I know like Crash Warped in particular has like a different art, and I don't know where else has different arts. But I feel like if I start that, then I'm going to want the whole European set, and I'm not sure if I want to do that exactly, but we'll figure it out. So even though I technically do have every Crash game now, I mean, I've always have. And whenever a new one come out, I would have it. My collecting isn't done just yet, but I'm still very proud of the collection that I have, especially with the fact that these are my childhood copies as well. If I stumbled upon any of your favorite Crash games, let me know in the comments which ones are your favorite, because I think it'd be fun to know, you know? I love reading the comments and discussing about Crash Bandicoot. Let's go. And I'm going to say something that I'm not sure how many of you are going to feel about it. I'm not sure how Crash 4 is going to sell. The marketing for it isn't as big as like Crash Team Racing or Crash Insane Trilogy. Not a lot of people know about Crash 4 coming out. I think Insane Trilogy in particular was huge, but I don't think Crash 4 is going to sell as well because I'm working retail and I'm telling people about a new Crash game coming out because I'm wearing a Crash pin at work and people are like, oh, I used to love Crash. But then I'd say, yeah, there's a new one coming out, and they're like, what? So hopefully we see more commercials, hopefully you see like a huge ad campaign about Crash 4 as well, and hopefully more people can see that new Crash game is out and get to actually experience it and play it, because the game deserves a lot of love. The developers gave the game a lot of love and attention, and I think it really deserves that from the consumers as well. I want this game to do really well, but I'm not sure how well it's going to sell. And if it doesn't sell too well, then Crash is going to die again, and I don't want him to die again. I don't want to wait another 9 to 12 years for another Crash game. No. I also had the mobile games when they were a thing. My iPhone can't play them anymore, but if I get like older stuff, like an older iPod or something like that, then I'm pretty sure I can re-download them and play them just fine. But that's my Crash collection. Again, like I said, let me know in the comments which one's your favorite and why. And if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. In the description, there's my social medias, so check that out. I love you guys to death, and I'll see you on the next one. So, peace.